What's up, everybody? Welcome to my channel, Revis Talk Sports. My name is John, and today we will be discussing about Green Bay Packers' new defensive coordinator, Jeff Hafley. We're going to do an in-depth analysis about what he brings to the table, his resume, his production, his scheme, what he emphasizes, and what I feel about this hire. So we're going to get right into it. So with Jeff Hafley, he is a defensive back and secondary specialist who's had success at every stop he's had, whether it's at the NCAA or NFL. He takes pride in developing players and really emphasizes fundamentals and technique to have the players succeed on the field. With such a young defensive core that the Packers have, I believe that Hafley can help develop the young talent on the team, which will not only help with on-field production, but as well as maximize talent, which is something that the Packers really need if we are serious about a Super Bowl trip. Now, as far as his resume and production, in 2001, he was with WPI as a running back coach. Then from 2002 to 2003, he was an Albany defensive assistant for the football team. He then got promoted 2004 to 2005 as a defensive back coach. Then he went on to go to Pittsburgh as a defensive assistant in 2006. This is something that people don't know, but on that 2006 Pittsburgh team, Darrelle Revis was actually on that team, who ended up as a first rounder and a Hall of Famer. So that is something that is not too many people know about, but the fact that he was a part of that team and helped with the development of Darrelle Revis on that team, that should speak value of him as a coach, that he has been around top-notch players like Darrelle Revis, who has now been in Hall of Fame. So that is something that is really, really great to know, especially that we have a young cornerback secondary team. So that is great to know. And then for the 2008 Pittsburgh team, when he got promoted as defensive back, the team was ranked 38 nationally passing yards allowed per game and ranked 37th nationally interceptions per game. In 2009, as a defensive back coach for the Pittsburgh Panthers, they were ranked 49 nationally passing yards allowed, ranked 31st interceptions per game. And in 2010 with Pittsburgh, which was his last year, they were ranked 19 nationally passing yards allowed and ranked 52 interceptions nationally per game. So during his Pittsburgh tenure, he was top 20 passing yards allowed once and pretty much averaged one interception per game, which is huge. Like, just imagine the Packers just having one pick a game, 17 in the season. That could turn like an 8-9 win team to a potential 12 to 13 win team, depending on the situation of the game. But that is huge to know that he just has his ball hawk turnover mentality, and I really appreciate that since the Packers only had 7 interceptions for the whole season. So I believe that he will help turn around our secondary, which was a weakness. So that's something that I'm really, really excited about. And after the 2010 season with the Pittsburgh Panthers, he went on to Rutgers to be a defensive back coach. In his 1 year with Rutgers as a DB coach, they were ranked 9th nationally passing yards allowed and ranked 5th nationally interceptions per game. This guy is a turnover specialist, and I love that. That was something that the Packers lacked during the season. Not only were third downs kill us, but we just couldn't get the ball our way. And the fact that he's able to produce this at the college football level is great to know. And then we'll definitely talk about what he's done on the NFL level. So after that 1 year with Rutgers, he went on to be the assistant DB coach for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 2012. Now, he was an assistant, so he didn't really have the full reins of the defensive backs, but they were ranked last passing yards allowed, but ranked 10th in the NFL in interceptions. He got promoted as an assistant to full DB coach in 2013 for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The previous year, they were last in passing yards allowed. They went up 15 spots, ranked 17th passing yards allowed, ranked 3rd in the NFL in interceptions, where the team had 21 interceptions in his first full year as a DB coach for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and his first full year as a DB coach in the NFL. So he's pretty much shown that not only has he been able to develop players and just have this turnover mentality on the college level, he's able to bring that to the NFL side. Very versatile. He's a great coach. That's something that I'm really excited about. After the 2013 season, he went on to the Cleveland Browns in 2014 as a DB coach, where the team ranked 8th in the whole season passing yards allowed and ranked 2nd in the NFL in interceptions with 21 interceptions as well. So in back-to-back seasons, as him being a DB coach, the teams have a combined 42 interceptions. You could have all the talent in the world, but for that to happen, that takes great coaching, that takes fundamentals, that takes development skills. So the fact that he's able to get 42 interceptions in his first 2 full seasons in the NFL as a DB coach, insane. In 2015 with the Cleveland Browns, right? Ranked 21st in passing yards allowed, 24th in interception. Now, his last year with the Cleveland Browns, the team did have a 3-13 season, so the talent and the overall team and the coach just wasn't there. So I guess he just made the move to San Fran, where he was with the Chip Kelly era. We all know how that went. So in 2016, he went to San Fran as a DB coach, where the defense ranked 14th in passing yards allowed and ranked 24th in interceptions. The following year, 2017, with San Francisco, they ranked 11th in passing yards allowed, 24 ranked in interceptions. And then in 2018 with San Fran, the team ranked again 11 passing yards allowed and ranked last in interceptions, where the team was 4-12. Now, mind you, at the time, San Fran wasn't the most talented team. We know how the Chip Kelly era went. And then in 2017, Kyle Shanahan took over the team, where it took him a few years to get his footing with the team. So I wouldn't really put that fully on him with a drop-off in production. Just the talent wasn't there. Kyle Shanahan was becoming a rookie head coach. The Chip Kelly era wasn't the greatest. So instead, he decided to take his talents to Ohio State. Now, in 2019, with Ohio State, he became the co-defensive coordinator and the DB coach. In his one only season with Ohio State, the team ranked 1st nationally in passing yards allowed per game and ranked 15th nationally in interceptions. The previous year, in 2018, before he arrived, Ohio State was ranked number 86 nationally passing yards per game and ranked 77 interceptions per game. I know what you're thinking. Ohio State has 5-star recruits. I understand that. Everybody and their parents on that team are 5-star recruits. I understand that they're a dominant team. But the increase in production from 2018 to 2019, when he was a co-defensive coordinator and DB coach, that flip of a switch from that talented team of how they were ranked 86 in passing yards allowed to 1st the following year, that takes great coaching, fundamentals. You can have all the talent in the world, but for you to maximize that talent and have that kind of production, you need to just be a detailed-oriented coach and just nitpick the fundamentals, the technique, maximizing talent, putting your players in the best position to succeed. That is amazing to see. I know this is college 2019, but it is very hard to turn a college team that's ranked that high and then rank it 1st and pretty much top 5 in every single category the following year. That is something that I'm really impressed with Jeff Hafley about. And I feel like once he started to create that kind of production, he felt that he was ready to become a head coach. So when he went to BC in 2020, we all know that Boston College isn't really the best college team, so he kind of had to work with what he had. As a head coach, You have eyes on the offense. You have eyes on the defense. And the special, like, you have eyes on everybody. So I'm gonna tell you his productions as a head coach. In 2020, ranked 73rd total defense per game, 26 total turnovers per game. 2021 ranked 28th nationally defense, ranked 52 turnovers per game. 2022 at BC, they were ranked number 67 total defense per game, ranked 90th turnover per game. And then his last year, 2023, the team was ranked 72 total defense allowed and ranked number 81 turnovers per game. I've been seeing a lot of comments about Jeff Hafley being a head coach. His record is 22-26. What the hell does he know about being a defensive coordinator at the NFL level? This is a joke. This is Packers being the Packers. Do not focus on his head coach record. Focus on the production that he's had, right? Based on the information that I provided to you, he's had incredible success focusing strictly on the defensive side, especially with DBs and secondary, as opposed to taking full control as a head coach. So I think he is more of a defensive specialist. He loves working with DBs. He loves working with secondary. So I think that is his bread and butter. And I'm sure all of us in our careers just choose job to job, and when we feel like we're ready for like that top-notch role, we feel like it's not a fit for us after a couple of years, so we kind of just hone in on what we specialize. And I think that's something with Jeff Hafley is after a few years of being a head coach with BC, I think he kind of figured that, you know what, I just want to just kind of get back into the NFL, get a new challenge, go back into the defensive side of things where I've had success with. I mean, in his 6 years as a DB coach, and then I'm going to go year to year, 6 years as a DB coach, 2013, 21 interceptions. 2014, 21 interceptions. 2015, 11. 2016, 10. 2017, 10. 2018, 2 interceptions. I know you noticed a drop-off in production, but you will notice that he was with the Cleveland Browns in that one last year. They're 3-13, and the 49ers just weren't the best with Chip Kelly and young Kyle Shanahan. But in the 6 years as a DB coach, he's had a total of 74 interceptions, and out of those 6 years, he's pretty much averaging about 12.3 interceptions a season in the NFL on the defensive side. Green Bay only had 7 all season. So if he can at least add an extra 5 interceptions, like maybe 5 to 10 interceptions, that will put our defense in elite status. Elite status. We just need to turn the ball over, and I think that Jeff Hafley is the guy to develop, maximize the talent, and just bring that ball hawk turnover mentality to the Green Bay Packers. And I believe that it's something that is really missing for this team. The third down conversions killed us. The lack of game turnovers killed us. This is something that Jeff Hafley could definitely bring to the table. Now, let's talk about his scheme and what he emphasizes. He is very versatile in terms of scheme. He's worked with, 3-4, 4-3, but he's worked mostly with the 4-3 defense. During his time with the 49ers, he worked under Rob Saleh, who utilizes 4-3 during his San Francisco tenure. Rob Saleh is a defensive genius, especially with 4-man D-line pressure. So the fact that Jeff Hafley has worked under Rob Saleh, I'm sure he could bring over some philosophies and principles over to Green Bay to bring in that four-line D-man pressure and kind of get that pressure to the quarterback. I'm a huge fan of 4-3 as opposed to 3-4, but the fact that he's very versatile with 3-4 and 4-3, I believe that he could find ways to not only disguise the coverages, but definitely find ways to bring pressure to the quarterback with just the D-line, especially when you're working with Rob Saleh. He has worked with a 4-3 hybrid scheme, which is a mix of 3-4 and 4-3. Believe it or not, the Legion of Boom used a 4-3 hybrid. We all know how that defense was. That defense was elite. And if that's something that he could bring in to the Green Bay Packers, just kind of that Legion of Boom, just philosophy of the 4-3 hybrid and just maximizing your talent, music to my ears, right? That is music to my ears. And I actually believe that if we were to convert over to a 4-3 defense, it will be a smooth transition for Luke Van Ness and Rashad Gary, because both of them had their hands on the dirt on the line when Lucas Van Ness was in Iowa and Rashawn Gary was in Michigan. So they have experience just being on the ground, one hand on the dirt, and just rushing the quarterback. So this will be a smooth transition for our edges, which will be great. Nothing's worse than kind of switching up a scheme and your players are not put in the position that they've never been in. This is bread and butter for Luke Van Ness and Gary, and I believe that this will definitely maximize their talent. This is what got them to be drafted in the teens. They were both had their hands on the dirt, so this will be great for us. Hafley acknowledged that what works in the NCAA doesn't really translate to the NFL, but I feel like when he analyzes our defense as a whole this past year, he's going to get a sense that press coverage will get the most out of Alexander, Carrington Valentine, and I believe with press coverage, it will also disrupt routes on third downs, which we hope that will decrease the opponent's third down conversion percentage, because people don't know that Green Bay was ranked 28th in the NFL in opponent's third down conversion. You cannot win a Super Bowl with that kind of production, right? I don't know if many people know or watched that game, but I believe it was last year where we played against the Vikings and Alexander was on Justin Jefferson, just coverage on him and just made him non-existent in that game. That is what will get the most out of Ja. If Ja can just get in your face and just jab the number and just be in your pocket, you will get an all-pro season out of Ja. And if Ja has that kind of season and he can help Valentine with that kind of production, that will maximize Valentine's just development, and that will be great, and that will be huge for a secondary. And that is something that Jeff Hafley will come in and teach with our DBs and just get those turnovers. Sorry about that. Jeff Hafley is a great teacher. He emphasizes fundamentals. He's very detail-oriented with technique. We could definitely help with the young talent we have. I'm going to put an Ohio State press coverage link in the description below that you could go check it out. He essentially had a master class with the Ohio State defense about why press coverage is important. He showed videos of NCAA football players of like their technique. Like he was just honing in of what works, what doesn't, how to turn over the ball, how to just jab the number in their chest and just armbar them around the whole time. And that is something that we need. Joe Barry's soft coverage, there was just no pressure. And then just quarterbacks were just licking their chops against us, just knowing how off coverage we were the whole season. Jeff Hafley has just the ball hawk turnover mentality. He's going to teach cornerbacks to just get in the receiver's face, just punch the number, armbar them all the way through their route, and just keep your head up. We need that. We need that kind of production from our cornerbacks if we are serious for a Super Bowl trip. So something that I'm really excited about. We need great teachers who have experience with development and maximizing talent. Now what I'm gonna talk about is what kind of free agents can bring that type of production to the Green Bay side. We do have holes in our secondary. We do have holes in our DB side. So I'm gonna talk about what free agents might be a great signing for us. Hopefully, with structuring some cap space and releasing, letting some players go, and hopefully bringing some free agent talent to kind of, bring in some missing pieces. So let's start off with the D-line, right? Our D-line has a deep core, very young team. I do believe that if the right defensive lineman in the draft falls in our lap, that could either be the second round or the third round. But if we feel like a great defensive lineman fits in our scheme and can definitely bring some competition to our line to bring the best out of each other, we should pull the trigger. I understand that we have a deep core. We have depth. It does not hurt to get an additional defensive lineman who could just bring competition, especially if he's trying to bring a 4-3 scheme to our team. The more bodies on the trenches, the more production we can get, right? I do not think that the Packers should do a free agent signing on the D-line side. That might be a bit costly. So I believe just to be on the cheaper side and the smart way of doing things, I just believe in just getting that one extra just D lineman to just bring that push to our team. So I believe with free agent signings on the D line side, I don't think it's a need. So we're going to just go over to the linebacker side. For the linebackers, we may need to draft a pick or two on the linebackers. With our depth is a bit thin. Kingsley is hurt. Devondre Campbell might not come back. Preston Smith not come back. So now it's kind of just Quay Walker, just centerpiece. How can we build around Quay and just kind of have this 4-3 maximized? Not a lot of people know this, but Isaiah McDuffie played under Hafley at BC, so we may see more McDuffie in our lineup, just playing that thumper role if we do go to that 4-3 scheme. He knows all about Hafley's. He knows all about Hafley's scheme. He did a good job shedding blocks. When Quay was hurt, McDuffie stepped up. When Campbell was hurt, McDuffie stepped up. So McDuffie, who I believe will be a vital piece to our defensive core. He knows Hafley. He was with him during BC. So I think we'll see more of McDuffie, just being that thumper and just kind of stopping in the run. But as far as linebacker free agent splash, I believe that Blake Cashman will be a great linebacker free agent. The reason why I believe that is because he's familiar with the 4-3 defense. He played under Rob Saleh with the New York Jets. So same principle, same philosophy. So I don't think that it will be a crazy transition for Blake Cashman. His PFF grade was 83.7, run defense grade 82.7, coverage grade 71.9%, and he had a 7% missed tackle rate, which was top 15 in the NFL. So I believe Blake Cashman will be a huge linebacker free agent for us. Familiar with 4-3, worked under Rob Saleh. Jeff Hafley worked under Rob Saleh. So I think this will be a great transition for Blake Cashman if we do a free agent splash for a linebacker. So that's who I believe will be a great free agent for the linebacker side. As far as cornerbacks, this is a serious need. I think we might have to draft about 2 or 3 cornerbacks in the draft, depending on how many people we get in free agent and who we bring back. But this is a serious need. As far as free agents, I believe that we should bring back Keshawn Nixon. He has the slot experience with us, and he's an all-pro returner in back-to-back seasons, who is huge for us in the special teams. And I believe he will help with depth. So I believe that one of the priorities on the cornerback side is bringing back Keshawn Nixon. A free agent that I can think of that we could definitely pick up is Kendall Fuller. He's a very versatile cornerback who has experience working in the slot, safety, and out wide with a PFF grade with 83.1, which is pretty good. Kendall Fuller, if we were to get him in free agent, he could definitely come in and play that slot, which is some help that we need. He can come in and play some safety if we need some safety help, or out wide to kind of give Valentine some competition. I believe Kendall Fuller will be a huge free agent for us if we were to get him. So that's something that I believe will be great for us if we could bring him to the Green Bay Packers side. Now let's go with the safeties. Safety is an immediate ASAP need, right? I could see us drafting about 2 safeties in the draft, right? The only safety on contract is Anthony Johnson. We cannot go into the season with just him only under contract, right? We need to fill up that safety team and just kind of just get more production and bring in some free agents. I do not think we'll bring Darnell Savage back. I don't know if Jonathan Owens would come back. Rudy Ford, I don't think he's coming back. There were times where he was healthy, but Green Bay didn't play him. So I think that says a lot about how the Packers feel about him. So if we were not to bring the 3 back, I have 3 free agent safeties who I believe will kind of step in, bring some veteran leadership, and have some experience with our safeties. So one name that I'm thinking about will be huge, will be Xavier McKinney. He has experience working on an island as a safety under Winkendale's scheme. with lots of cover ones, cover zeros. His coverage grade as a safety was 81.4 and in the box 79.4. So that is top 10 in the league with safeties. He rarely whiffs in the open field, and he is a reliable last line of defense with a PFF grade of 87.8. Xavier McKinney played under Winkendale, who plays this very aggressive scheme where man coverage is very heavy and the safety is on an island. I believe Xavier McKinney will be huge for our safety position. He is used to just playing on an island, everyone playing just man coverage, and if someone were to get beat or someone is just running the ball down our throats, Xavier McKinney is a reliable last line of defense to make that tackle. He would barely even miss, so that is huge because we all saw what happened in the divisional game with McCaffrey with that run. Let's not get into depth of that, but we all saw what happened. Another free agent safety that I have in mind is Jordan Fuller. He played under Jeff Hafley in the 2019 Ohio State season, so he's very familiar with the style, the scheme, and the coach, which I believe will be a great transition for him, just being familiar with the coaching and the scheme. He is a ball hawk free safety. He's just as reliable as McKinney with open field tackles, last line of defense. His PFF grade was 67.9. I know it's not the greatest, but he is great at contesting passes and avoiding penalties. He has a run grade of 82.7 and a 14.9% forced incompletion rate, which is the best out of all free agent safeties. So essentially, out of all the safeties that are free agents, he is ranked number 1 in forced incompletions. So if the ball's in the air, he's going to be in the screen, just pass deflections, interceptions, make the guy just not catch the ball. That is great if people are trying to make deep throws on our defense. So I believe that's huge. And then last but not least, the one person who I also believe will be a great fit for us on the safety side is Jordan Whitehead. He played under Rob Saleh. He is a great fit in a defense that deploys single high looks. He's had multiple interceptions and 20-plus defensive stops in every season. His PFF grade was 68.1. I know that's not great, but the fact that he was a starter in the Jets' elite defense should speak value about him as a player, right? That Jets defense is so elite that the fact that he was a starter and he has just that fit and the versatility just to work on an island, I believe that's huge. And like I said before, Jeff Hafley worked under Rob Saleh, so he'll be very familiar with the scheme and fit. So I believe those 3 safeties will be huge for our team, and hopefully the Packers make a splash at that. But that is it. I believe that Jeff Hafley will be a great fit for the Packers. I believe that he is a great coach. He emphasizes fundamentals, and the free agents that I've mentioned, I believe that they will be huge for our team to make a Super Bowl run. So those are my thoughts on Jeff Hafley. And please leave a comment below. Please like and subscribe if you like this video. I will put that video in the link if you really want to see that Ohio State masterclass of him just emphasizing press coverage and why he loves it. So it's something that you could check out. But other than that, thank you so much for tuning into my channel, and catch you next time. Peace.